Mel Kiper has officially released his 2025 NFL grades for all 32 NFL teams, and including the New England Patriots. We're going to break down what Kiper had to say about the Patriots draft. And on the back half of the show, I really want to address an important position for New England. Now that they have the bulk and the depth they need, how do they move forward and start minimizing that position? We're in a good spot to be in, trust me. So before I hop into what Mel Kiper had to say, I want to hear from you guys. What is your overall grade of the 2025 NFL draft? Before I throw a bunch of analyst opinions at you, I want you guys to be able to voice your opinions in the comment section down below, A, B, C, D, or F. Mel Kiper did recently announce he gave the Patriots an A-. He actually gave New England a B last year, which I think that B is very generous, but I think Drake Maye had a lot to do with that. He viewed the Patriots' needs at offensive tackle, wide receiver, and defensive tackle. And of course, he only gave out one A+ this entire draft, and that was for the Cleveland Browns. I have a feeling that was because of Shedeur Sanders. I think Mel Kiper was a huge fan of Shedeur, so that is why I think the Browns ultimately got an A+ from Big Mel. So here is how he opened up why he gave the Patriots an A-. He said the Patriots were in a good spot at number 4. If either Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter fell to them, great. If not, they would have their pick of the offensive lineman in this class. That matters because quarterback Drake Maye was pressured on 37.3% of his dropbacks. We watched it. We saw Maye spend majority of his rookie season on his back. Kiper said not ideal for a young passer. Amid personnel changes, the offensive line was 31st in pass block win rate at 50.9%. But Will Campbell instantly improves things here. Everyone made a big deal about his 32 5/8 inch arm length after the combine. And it's not ideal, but I still see footwork, technique, and pure power on the NFL left tackle side. Campbell will immediately replace Darian Lowe there. Thank God. The Pats have selected just one offensive lineman in the top 10 in the common draft era since 1967. Before the Campbell pick, John Hanna, also in 4th in 1973. I've said this time and time again. I know a lot of people have different opinions on Will Campbell. He was the right pick for a guy like Drake Maye. When you watch his interview after the draft, he said through and through, I am a quarterback guy. I will not let anybody touch my quarterback. That is who I want protecting Drake Maye's left side. And if the only reasoning that you have on not wanting to draft Will Campbell is this 32 5/8 inch arm, I want to present to you guys a few spectacular offensive tackles in the NFL that had under 34-inch arms and still had a very great NFL career. Joe Thomas, the most notable one, he's a Hall of Famer. Jason Peters, a 9-time Pro Bowler. Penei Sewell, 2-time All-Pro. Jonathan Ogden, 11-time Pro Bowler. Joe Staley, and Donald Penn. Now, I do agree that it is a bit of a not ideal situation having a 32 5/8 inch arm length. But I agree with Mel Kiper in that you need to have several different assets as an offensive tackle, not just your arm length. You need footwork. You need a football IQ. You need strength. You need power. And I think Will Campbell has all of that. A little bit shorter arms, but he does make up for it in what he does have. Do you like the Will Campbell pick? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I am going to go Y for yes. Because like I said, there are so many different aspects to being an offensive tackle. Not that I know this from experience, but from my years watching the NFL. And just because you don't have 34-inch arm length doesn't mean you're going to fail. Yes, is it an advancement? Is it definitely a helping hand? Obviously. Guys with 36-inch arms have a better chance of keeping their defender and sticking their arms straight out and holding off the block longer. But maybe their footwork sucks. Well, Campbell's doesn't. There's going to be other assets that he can bring to his game. But thankfully, there were 10 other draft picks that New England secured between Thursday and Sunday. And Mel Kiper continued on saying New England continued its revamp on day 2, sticking with the offense. It used 7 of 8 picks on the offense last year, and the first 4 went that way this year. Running back TreVeyon Henderson and receiver Kyle Williams will improve Maye's supporting cast. Henderson is in a perfect spot to maximize his skill set, especially, in my opinion, with a guy like Josh McDaniels. He's a big play artist because of his explosion and vision, but he won't be a 30-carry back every Sunday. Henderson is at his best when he's sharing the work. And the Patriots will do that with Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson still in the fold. And when I look at just the pure running back that we got with TreVeyon Henderson, we got an absolute dog. And I do think this provides a little bit of speed and a little bit of sonic with our knuckles, which is Ramondre Stevenson. 144 attempts for 1,000 yards rushing. And even what Kiper said, he's not going to be toting the rock majority of the time. So when he does come in, it's going to shake up defenses a lot. 10 touchdowns as well. But here's what I also liked about TreVeyon Henderson, and I have a feeling that Josh McDaniels does too. 27 receptions for almost 300 yards. We know that Mondre, we tried to use him a little bit in the passing game last year, but it just didn't really work out in the offense that Alex Van Pelt designed for Drake Maye and Ramondre Stevenson. I think Josh McDaniels, knowing he loves to throw to his running backs, Henderson's really going to help out in expanding the playbook, and it's also going to help out Drake Maye by establishing a good run game. Drake Maye is going to lead a fantastic passing game for New England, but you have to make sure you're a dual threat on the ground and in the air. So I'll ask you guys this. Go on ahead and let me know your Patriots' favorite pick in 2025. It could be Will Campbell, TreVeyon Henderson, Kyle Williams, Joshua Farmer. I mean, we have 11 guys. I know you like one of them. Go on ahead and put your comment in the comment section down below if you guys have not already. Mr. Kiper likes to talk a lot. He continued to talk a little bit more here about why he liked the Patriots draft, and he said Williams, meanwhile, will be a good deep threat for Maye with his speed. The wide receiver room is definitely better. Between Williams and free agent signing Stephon Diggs, the day 2 capper was Jarrett Wilson, my top-ranked center. He's behind Garrett Bradbury on the depth chart, but his quickness and even a little bit of interior versatility means that he should see the field. And I think Garrett Bradbury was a good pickup here to give a guy like Jarrett Wilson more time. But I want to talk about Kyle Williams. So I do definitely have some reserves on Kyle Williams just because the Patriots have instilled me to have an anxiety attack every time they draft a wide receiver because I think there may be a better one out there. I'm very excited to see what Williams is able to bring to New England. He was a top 5 touchdown scorer for college athletics and football last year. He had 14 touchdowns, 70 receptions, 1,200 yards. The kid is fast. He has great hands, great catch radius. I think he's going to be great with Stephon Diggs. My only reserve is that I really hope there is another player out there like Luther Burden or Jaden Higgins that make us regret taking Kyle Williams. That's my only reserve I have with him. Now, Jarrett Wilson, I feel like we haven't talked enough about the gentle giant that could possibly be giving Drake Maye majority of his snaps later in his career. Like I said, I think Garrett Bradbury is going to take most of the snaps, but a guy like Jarrett Wilson, the overall best center in the draft, is going to allow a second-year quarterback like Drake Maye to grow with him as their career continues on. Bradbury, obviously, he's a veteran. So he's been around. We don't know how much longer we have with a guy like that. So maybe they're trying to rebuild a David Andrews situation here. Mel Kiper continues, there are some good day 3 picks in New England too. Defensive tackle Joshua Farmer has dealt with some injuries, but he can push the pocket. Braden Swinson has an 8.5 sacks last season off the edge, and Andres Borregales is a number 2 kicker in the class. We start with Farmer. I know that because he was a day 3 pick, a lot of people are going to overlook this. I really like Joshua Farmer. I think he is a Vrabel guy through and through. He said he wants to bring back the old New England with Milton Williams and with his buddy Keon White and I'm blanking, Christian Barmore. So I think Joshua Farmer is going to be a great addition to that, and I think that he is going to grow under a guy like Mike Vrabel. We'll probably go pad to pad with him as well a few times in practice. And then Andres Borregales, I do think that a kicker was necessary for New England. I do think there were still some other free agents out there they may have wanted to sign, like a Matt Gay, but I do think that Andres, being the number 2 kicker in the league, maybe they just want to start fresh. Knowing that we picked up Joey Sly last year, he was a good free agent to pick up, and then he just kind of sucked in New England. Maybe they just want to draft a guy and just truly take him from the get-go. Mel Kiper continues, overall, it's been a good offseason for New England. This draft class is solid. But the Pats also spent, in free agency, signing Diggs, Milton Williams, Harold Landry III, Robert Spillane, Carlton Davis, and Morgan Moses. God, it feels nice to have multiple names to discuss. He said they could take a big step forward in 2025. Oh, it just feels so nice to have a good offseason, to finally address the several areas of need for the Patriots on offense and on defense. I feel so much more confident heading into 2025 than I did 2024. Having Mike Vrabel, Josh McDaniels, all of those veterans in free agency, gaining 11 rookies in the draft class, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch New England this year. And I'll put it right now, the Patriots are going to the playoffs. But before I expand a little bit more on that, let me tell you guys how you guys can rep the rookies this year. Will Campbell is the hottest rookie for the Patriots at pick number 4, and you guys can go on ahead and snag his jersey right now using this link, chatsports.com/Will Campbell. No, he will not be wearing number 1, but all rookies do not have a number yet. So Fanatics likes to put number 1 on all the rookie jerseys. I promise he will not be rocking this number. So go on ahead, use this link, chatsports.com/Will Campbell. They will send you the jersey that has his number once he does declare. And if you guys can't remember this link, I will put it in the comment section down below, chatsports.com/Will Campbell. Click that link and it'll take you there. Now, at the beginning of this video, I said I want to talk about one specific position group for the Patriots, and that, of course, is going to be the wide receiver. I heard it all offseason. Allie, we need this wide receiver. We need this wide receiver. We want to draft this wide receiver. Obviously, you have to get Drake Maye some personnel, some pass catchers. But now that the Patriots have an abundance of wide receivers, somebody, unfortunately, is going to have to go. Not just one person, but probably 4 or 5. When you look at the Patriots wide receiver group as a whole now, Stefon Diggs, Kyle Williams, Pop Douglas, Mac Hollins, Kayshon Boutte, Kendrick Bourne, Polk, Baker, Giles, Jackson, they cannot keep 10 wide receivers on their roster. And obviously, there's a lot of training camp, OTAs, voluntary offseason workouts, but teams usually only carry about 6. 6 wide receivers. We carried 7 last year, and they all pretty much sucked. So now we're looking at a better group of wide receivers, but we need to get to a smaller number. Now, I know we are very early in the offseason here, but when I take a look at this receiver core, I think only 4 are completely safe. Stefon Diggs, Kyle Williams, Pop Douglas, and Mac Hollins. Mac Hollins, obviously, because Mike Vrabel just signed him, and he really likes Mac. But then you start to look at the Kayshon Boutte and the Kendrick Bournes. Now, let's talk a little bit real quick here about the 2 second-year players. I think John Giles and Jaquay Jackson, I think they get cut because you're probably thinking, who? And that's the whole point. Let's talk about Polk and Baker just real quick. I don't know if they get cut this year because we have literally not seen what Polk and Baker can do. Now, we've seen more from Polk than we have from Baker. What we saw from Jalen Polk was disgusting as a man that claimed he has the best hands in the NFL. Statistically, he has the worst. Statistically, he is ranked the last wide receiver in the NFL. But I do think that the offense was not really designed for him. I think Alex Van Pelt kind of fumbled the bag when it came to the rookie. I also think Jerod Mayo didn't really know what he was doing with a guy like Polk and Baker as well. Baker, I don't know if it was a character issue, but he was a healthy scratch more often than not, and there was no reasoning why. Now, from Mike Vrabel's reports, he really likes Polk and Baker, and he wants to leave the past in the past, which is why I don't think now is the time to cut these 2 guys. However, you have seen Kayshon Boutte and Kendrick Bourne. Bourne is going to be your second oldest receiver in the room now, thanks to Stefon Diggs. And Kayshon Boutte, yeah, he was a good deep threat for New England last year towards the end of the season when Drake Maye finally got a little bit more of a footing on the NFL ground. But I could see that Boutte and Bourne being gone after training camp because you're going to realize you have a veteran presence now in a guy like Stefon Diggs. You also have the speed that Boutte has in a guy like Kyle Williams. And then overall, with a guy like Boutte, there were also a lot of rumors out there that the Patriots could have possibly tried to trade away Kayshon Boutte during the draft for more picks. So clearly they're already starting to look about maybe moving off of him. We clearly have a long way to go, but I know that we finally addressed the wide receiver need. Oh, we may have done a little too much because now we have 10 guys and you can really only keep 6. So which wide receiver or wide receivers would you cut if you were Elliott Wolf? This is just speculating. Obviously, there won't be really any cuts until August, about 2 weeks away from the season. But it's nice to kind of have this problem. So let me know in the comment section down below. As always, if you guys haven't already, go on ahead, hit that sub button for me on Patriots Today by Chat Sports if you guys want the latest around your favorite football team.